Hey, y'all, picture these a bitter Nebraska night, snow hammering down like it's got a personal grudge, and out in the middle of nowhere, there's this old farmhouse, creaking against the wind. Inside, Ellie, a widow pushing 70, is huddled by a flickering lamp, her hands wrapped tight around a faded quilt, her only company since her husband, Tom, passed a decade ago. The place is too big, too quiet, and the bank's been circling like vultures, ready to snatch the only thing she's got left. Then, out of nowhere, this low growl cuts through the storm, not thunder, but engines, motorcycles, maybe a dozen, sputtering and desperate. Ellie peers out, heart pounding, and sees these shadowy figures, leather jackets soaked, shivering like lost dogs at her gate. Every instinct screams, lock the door, call the sheriff. But something stops her, maybe Tom's old saying, never turn away a soul in need. So, she swings that door open, letting in a blast of snow and 12 rough-looking bikers, their boots tracking mud across her floor. Now, Ellie's no fulch scared, wondering if she's just invited trouble into her home. These guys look like they've lived hard, tattoos snaking up their arms, faces carved by years on the road. But they're freezing, half-starved, and she can't ignore that. She starts pulling out what little she's got, some stale bread, a pot of thin soup, and as she moves, she catches their eyes, wary, sizing her up like she might be the threat. One guy, Jake, their leader, nods a gruff, "Thanks, ma'am," but his voice is tight, like he's not used to kindness. Another, a wiry kid named Mikey, mutters, "This place smells like my grandma's," and a couple of them chuckle, easing the tension just a hair. Ellie's hands shake as she ladles soup, but she keeps moving, keeps serving, because that's what she knows, taking care of folks, like she did for Tom when he came back from the war, quieter than the man she married. The night drags on, and something shifts. Ellie, maybe feeling the weight of all that silence, starts talking about Tom, how he'd hum old country tunes while fixing the fence, how the bank's been hounding her since he died, how she sometimes talks to his picture just to hear her own voice. The bikers listen, and one by one, they crack open too. Jake admits he lost a brother in Iraq, still hears his laugh in the wind sometimes. Mikey, barely 20, says he rides to outrun a dad who never wanted him. It's raw, real, and for the first time in years, Ellie's house feels alive, like it's holding its breath for something bigger. But then Mikey starts coughing hard, ragged, like his lungs are giving up. Panic hits the room like a spark. He's fine, Jake snaps, but Ellie's already moving, her hands steady as she kneels by Mikey, pressing a cool cloth to his fevered head, barking orders for blankets and quiet. The guys freeze, stunned by this tiny woman taking charge. She's done this before, one whispers, and Jake just watches, his hard eyes softening, like he's seeing her for the first time. Come dawn, the storm's gone, and Ellie's serving up the last of her eggs, the bikers quieter now, almost gentle. She thinks it's over, that they'll ride off and she'll be alone again. But then the ground Shakisa roars so deep it rattles her windows. She steps outside, quilt slipping from her shoulders, and sees it. 100 motorcycles cresting the hill, chrome glinting like a war machine in the morning sun. Her heart stops. "What did I do?" she whispers, thinking her kindness has brought an army to her door. The neighbors peek out, slamming shutters, whispering she's doomed the town. But Jake and his crew step in front of her, forming a line on her porch, not backing down. The lead rider, a grizzled guy named Red, raises a hand, and the engines cut off silence so sharp it stings. He steps forward, eyes locked on Ellie. "You saved my boy years ago," he says, voice low. "Fed him, patched him up when he was nothing but a stray. Last night, you saved him again, Mikey." Ellie's breath catches. She barely remembers that night, but Red's eyes burn with truth. "We don't forget debts." Before she can blink, trucks roll in ladders, lumber, paint cans piled high. The bikers move like they've got a mission, hammering new shingles, mending fences, stuffing her pantry with enough food for a year. Envelopes appear on her table, bank slips stamped, paid in full, her debts, her nightmares gone. Ellie's tears fall as she watches these men, who she thought were trouble, rebuild her world. One guy, covered in tattoos, grins and says, "Gotta make this place worthy of you, ma'am." By noon, her farmhouse gleams, reborn, and the neighbors, once scared, now gape in awe. The bikers mount up, engines rumbling like a hymn. Red hands her a worn leather glove. No words, just a nod. They ride off, saluting her one by one, a slow parade of respect that shakes the street. Ellie stands tall, no longer just a widow, but a woman who turns strangers into family. That night, Ellie sits by her window, the glove in her hand, feeling Tom's pride like he's right there. She's not scared of the silence any Maresh's alive, seen, remembered. But here's the thing. If one act of kindness can bring 100 engines to honor a forgotten woman, what could it do for you? Drop a comment, tell me, what's a small act of kindness you've seen change everything? Share this if it hit you, and let's keep these stories alive.